I'm alive. That's right, you may have thought, no, you may have wished, no you may have even attempted to bring about my death. But as you can tell from me standing here, and from your socks being wet, I cannot be stopped. That's right, Wiggle Waggle Nightcock still stands victorious. You thought my righteous crusade to defile the whole of the Touhou series would end with every shooter character thoroughly reviewed. Well bitch nigger, I have some news for you. Mainly that by the holy, thoroughly fucked pussy of Virgin Mary were the Touhou's 17.5 and 18 pure fucking dog water. Good thing I don't need to address those. Because listen here you little cum sock stains. Today we'll begin S.H.I.T, which stands for super hyper high quality in-depth Touhou-guide. In this series I will give you my politically correct opinions on the world's current event, I mean the objective truth about the each and every fighting game character that has appeared in any of the said fighting games. But before I spread them cheeks and dive in, some basic things first. When talking about the fighting games we'll only regard the hiss out sec nonsensus and antiferin common terrorists list. Because those are the only two games that actually matter. The you will own nothing and be happy game together with the jihadist handbook game aren't even acknowledged cause their game is as strong as your 68-year-old uncle's at a local bar at 21:34 p.m. We all know he's thirsty for that barely legal boy pussy, but enough about your childhood trauma. The Typhoon Season game and the Touhou/Alex Jones crossover will not be talked about either, because at the end of the day, the games that followed both of them were just polished copy-pastes. Plus they don't have all the characters. And when it comes to the punching bags themselves, if the character appears in both games then we'll talk about how the character plays in both of those games. If the character appears in only one game, then we'll talk about only that game. You up to speed? You better be, because I'm not explaining that again. Questions are not tolerated. So to kick you in the nuts, I mean kick things off, let us start where we previously left off. That being Marisa Kirisame, the lesbian not deterred by the Geneva Convention. Marisa, RD little fucker. The reason we start with her instead of Ryumu this time is simple. I don't give a shit. But also because her role in the fighters is the same as Ryumu's is in the shooters. Laughing stock, I mean beginner friendly. Marisa is described as to have strong ranged combat, but weak melee combat. But before going any further, let's set one thing straight. Touhou Wiki is a malicious website and a controlled operative. Those slimy fuckers running that site are in cahoots with the IRS, CIA, FBI, MI6, BBC, CNN, Peter and many other corrosive chemical compounds. Never trust them. Ever. Because you see, Marisa has one of the best melees in all of the characters. In ground fighters you have the infamous Acid Blast and the Tiger Woods imitation. In the floaters you have jihadi suicide bombing where Marisa doesn't fire a projectile, she is the projectile. At night she smashes the pussy, and during the day she smashes the infidel parasites. Mashallah and all that good shit. But, no, not hers. Marisa is not just all ass and no sass. Because this bitch packs enough fire to make Australians shit and cum. She's basically an American school kid on crack cocaine. Lasers for days. Grenades, missiles, anti-air and ground artillery, and an Spars 12 loaded with slugs. Don't ask how she got it, because I don't know, and I'm honestly terrified. But while we are talking about her ranged moves, let's talk about grenades. Or rather, let's not talk about her grenades, because why in the sodding cock would you ever use this for anything other than blowing your own two legs off as a last show of defiance? You'll never hit anything with them, the range is laughable, and they are so slow to throw that by the time that Tesco egg has left your hand your opponent had had ample time to grow up, go to college, get shot in a school shooting and be buried. Even the eulogy is halfway done. You fucking wet wipe. My advice, just spam them missiles. They're fast, and in the ground fighters they even home a little. But all this talk about her vast range of ranged attacks might mislead you, because Marisa is definitely and absolutely a pure melee character. Forget her missiles and bombs and lasers because they do, in all honesty, a piss all amount of damage. Meanwhile her melee hits like a fucking freight train. But that's only some of your time. In fact most of your time is being used on spell card selection, so let's get into that. Lesson 1 in spells. Why am I being trialed in the Nuremberg? Power is the keyword here, so anything that isn't a giant cum ass laser can be forgotten and never used. You heard right. The true reason you'd ever want to play Marisa is her signature move. The Cum Spark. And more specifically the Surefire Cum Spark. Because let me tell you, when you have this bad boy ready and your enemy is stupid enough to leave the safety of the ground, there is no health insurance in the world that will cover that. But you can get even better. Because at the top of the line there's this. The final nut. Which I would explain, but I don't want to be on a watch list. Instead I will provide audio-visual stimulus to your monkey brain. Look at that. Just beautiful. The same applies mostly to floaters, but in those you have only one variety of the Cum Spark. And while it is all fine and good, it tends to leave you with blue balls. And God forbid your opponent happens to block it. That's a certified tankalaric moment. But if everything else fails you, then at least in the floaters you have the option of stuffing your enemy down the shitter, literally. I mean, this is in a pond land we are talking about, so those hands will probably do some ungodly sex stuff to whoever is unlucky to enter the brown slide. But that just comes with the territory. But moving on, normally you would probably expect me to do a segue to the part where I make a clown of myself in the actual game. But before that fiesta we have a new show segment. Dear viewers, and Herbert, I know you're watching, I'm on to you. Let me present to you the Thought Minute. A segment where we have a new guest of honor for each episode to give their valuable input. And who else to kick things off other than Magi Top 10 Touhou Images FTW. Give this man a round of applause. And without any further ado, your 3-minute begins now.
So you want to use Riding Shogun. I respect that. However, before you do that, you need to know how to set her up so you can do maximum damage. Next would be her artifacts. The only one is Emblem of Sever Fate. Any other is trash for her. For stats, the normal crit rate, crit damage, attack, and energy recharge. For Sans, go attack or energy recharge depending on your weapon, electro damage for goblet, and crit rate or damage circlet. Weapons, you obviously go for Engulf and Lightning. If you can't, the catch is a decent substitute. Constellation 2 would get her best damage boost, but not required. Now let's show some gameplay. That will conclude the
And time's up. Thank you Magi for your valuable input. I truly hope the viewers paid attention and wrote everything down, because I sure as hell didn't. What? You think that just because I invite people to talk in my show I'd give a single shit about what they have to say? Well, clearly you haven't been paying enough attention to what I have had to say. But that's enough talk about my over-exaggerated ego and narcissistic tendencies. You know what's next. I know what's next. Even your grandmom's fucking fleas know what's next. That's right. It's time to whip it out and let me demonstrate why I'm a little god at these games. So class, take notes as I'm gonna show you the ass whooping of the fucking millennia. Now look closely. This is some serious business and I'm not fucking around. I honestly have no idea what these mean, and frankly I don't care. Game knowledge is for pussies. Okay, since we cannot choose our opponent at random, I'll just close my eyes and see what hand the fate deals me. Well, hello there. I'm going to fuck your shit up. And here we fucking go. And like in every other fighting game ever made, spamming random shit is objectively the best strategy. And ass, never forget about ass. And here ladies and gentlemen we can see a grade A example of why Marisa's ranged attacks suck horsecock, and she is better used as melee. Stellar. Absolutely brilliant performance. And now for the finishing round. I will destroy her with a single move. Watch me. Now you shut the fuck up. Don't say a fucking word. Fuck it. This is the part where Geneva Convention goes out the window. Come here you lanky bitch. Back where I'm from we have this old and wise saying. It's drenched in tradition and deep meaning, and it's been passed down from father to a son always before the great journey to get some milk from a local store. It is, get fucked bitch. Okay, once more to prove my point and to show I'm not fucking around. Prepare to get mac fucked. Like I fucking said, big asses control the masses. I might have to censor this. The last I checked, absolute fucking murder is against YouTube community guidelines. And so is teleporting. Fuck off. The trap is set. Now let me demonstrate how utterly retarded the AI is in this game. I think the clip spoke for itself. Nothing more to see here. Let's move on. Now for the Antifa common terrorists list. The idea is the same. We'll haul some ass to prove that my word is the long dick of the law. Let's fucking go. Hail Hitler. Okay, let's see. How do I drive a broom? It's all coming back to me. Been a long while since I lost my license. Okay, since this game is this easy as well, let me demonstrate my spells. Now you will listen to me and shut your bitch ass mouths. None of you saw jack shit. Oh, would you look at that? We already beat Miko and went to the next fight already. Now I do apologize. My schizophrenia button seems to be a little sensitive. Jesus fucking Christ, just activate the fucking spell, you utter muppet. Fuck it. Why in the sweet baby Jebus aren't you activating the spell? You fucking buffoon. This has to be a dream. Yee. I'm probably hallucinating all of this in some dank gutter. Here we fucking go. Shut the fuck up. Well, as they say, second time's the you fucking donkey. Now the cockblock's about to get me acting unwise. Now what you just saw didn't actually happen. It was an audio-visual hallucination brought upon you by the LSD I spiced your cereal with. But enough about those minor things. One more run before we wrap this up. Okay, it seems like we'll be facing retardation with a side of schizophrenic child. And like they say, mental illness leads a kid through violence. So let's get to business. This combo here is a wiggle trademark. Please don't steal. Repeat 20 times. Now, if you get hit by a space laser, it's important to remember that it cannot hurt you if you don't believe in it. Some treaty forbids space weapons, I think. It's rather tough luck, isn't it, that my ass is still resistant. Time to get flushed, bitch. And there you have it. Actual audio-visual proof that I was not talking from my ass this time. Not that I ever was. Those who claim otherwise will be shot on spot. But anyway, it's now time for the second new segment of this series. That being character ranking. This time I will actually rank each character. Both games will have their own ranking. But since Marisa is our first victim, I mean subject, we'll just slap her there and call it a day. How she'll rank against other characters, you'll have to wait and see. So, should you play Marisa? Fuck no, play Outer Wilds instead. Is pretty cool, man. But keeping with the spirit of this series, I'll now let you choose the next character out of the fighting games that I will review next. Leave a comment with a character of your choice and leave a reason as to why that character. The best reason wins. Now off you go, you piss cretins. Papa Wiggle needs to take a shit. Fuck off.